Aloha everyone, it's your girl, your host with the most, your favorite chick to chit chat with, Miss Mo. It's your sister on the pull up, here to help you unpack and process and progress forward and power and prosperity. How do we do that today? Let's tune in. Listen, this is just a quick check-in that I wanted to do. It's been a minute, but it's the holidays and there's a lot of emotions in the air, good, bad, mix. And so I just want to check in. How are you doing? How are things going for you? And yes, I am asking those questions because I genuinely do care. Listen, there's been a lot of communication. We've heard things about suicide. You've heard a lot of people losing people, and there's a lot going on, but there's always a lot going on. Let's be honest. It's whether or not we know about what's going on is the question. So I wanted to just check in and see how you guys were doing, and I wanted to talk about a couple of things. Lately when I close out my videos or my posts or my newsletters and things like that, I say things like be good to yourself and at least be kind to others. And why am I encouraging you guys to at least be kind to others? Because sometimes people feel invisible and they feel unseen. It is not your job, not your responsibility. But just imagine how great it would be if you felt like nobody sees you, nobody cares, but then someone comes along and they just have a genuine hello, have a great day, or stay warm, or whatever, some simple conversation in passing, and it's like, wow, you do see me. You could be their reminder that God still sees them, that God never takes his eyes off of them, right? So just be kind to each other. Plus, you never want your exchange or your encounter with someone to be the grain of sand that leads to their break, leads to their snapping, their breakdown, their whatever. If you're not adding something good to people's life, you don't want to be a part of that, right? We don't want to be the extra piece of spicy that caused the whatever. You know what I'm saying? So just be kind, and just imagine if everybody's being kind to the people that they encounter, then everybody's being encountered with kindness each day, right? So let's cause that ripple effect. Another thing, we heard about the gentleman who committed suicide. He's not the only one. Suicide has been happening. Depression has been on. People have been wrestling with depression and just all kinds of things, right? This one brought a lot of more attention. This one started a lot of more conversations, or started the conversations back up, which is a good thing. It's back on the radar. However, you hear people saying how he was so full of life and he was moving, he was doing this and da da da. And every time he came around, he was this way. So to know that he was dealing with whatever he was dealing with that led to that decision. Listen, you don't know what people are dealing with, literally. And just like people don't know what you're dealing with, right? So this is where the kindness comes in, being kind to one another. Now, being kind doesn't mean that you're going to save a life, but you don't know whether or not it could, right? You don't know what your moment, your act of kindness, your gesture is adding to someone's life. I heard someone say how when people die, they always start encouraging people to get help, talk to someone, and they be like, how you know they didn't? We don't know. But the least we can do is encourage others who may be dealing with it to get help. There is help. Who has your help? I don't know. Who has your answers? I don't know. Sometimes when you reach out to your family and friends, they won't have the answers for what you're dealing with. They may just be able to provide a safe space for you to at least release and talk to someone, get it off your chest so heavy about what it is you're dealing with. And after you've done all of that, they still may not have an answer. They still may not have a direction to point you in. They still may not have the resources that you need. However, the only thing they may be able to say at the end is, my goodness, I didn't know you were dealing with that. I'm praying for you. I'm sorry. I don't even know what to do about your situation. But I am here if you want to talk about it. I am here to pray with you. And if you determine what you need, if there's something I can do to help, I will. But I don't know how to fix that. I don't even know how to carry that. And I'm sorry that you're dealing with that. That's all they may have. They may not have your answers. And it is okay. And we also tell people, get therapy. And people be like, with therapy costs a lot, or I can't this, or, they have their different reasons why they don't want to do therapy. Well, listen, therapy is a good thing. And maybe your family doesn't have your answers, but you can tell them like, listen, I found a therapist that I want to try, but it costs this much. I can't afford it. Can you guys help me pay for therapy? Look at your insurance. Most insurance companies do cover therapy. I think on it is called behavioral health or something like that. Use it. My copay is $25. You may need therapy more than once a week. You may need it bi-weekly, weekly, monthly. I don't know, but determine it. And every therapist is not for everybody. So the therapist you start with, maybe you may realize like, okay, this is helpful, but I think I need something different. They do different things. They have different methods and so on and so forth. And again, the therapist may not have your answer. They may not have the strategy you need to fix that thing that's going on. But what they can do is provide you with tools and resources to help you navigate through what you're going through so that you don't cause harm to yourself or cause harm to others while you're determining and figuring out what it is you need to do. Sometimes they're just there to relieve the pressure so that you can have the free space to work on what you need to work on, to get done what you need to get done, and to remind you that you are not alone in this thing. And then they get paid to listen. So sometimes your family, your friends may be dealing with things as well, and they really don't have the capacity to fully receive, even though their heart's desire would be to be there. Therapists get paid to do that stuff. And so they are there. They have that time that they're set aside. And again, they're trained. They go to school to learn about different triggers and different, like, it's just a lot. Try it. When I was going through, I had a team of people. When I wanted to commit suicide, it was a team of them. They didn't know they were a team, but they all got messages, and all of their responses were different. All of how they showed up for me was different. They showed up according to what they knew and what they understood how to do, and they did it. And it took a team of them to get me through it. I am grateful that I had a team of them. And yes, sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm tired of talking to my family and friends. I'm always telling them, they probably tired of hearing it. I'm quite sure my family and friends were tired of hearing about what I was going through, because it was going on and I couldn't get out of the cycle. I didn't know how to relieve myself of it all, to make the weight stop, to make the frustration go away, to make the heartache or whatever I was experiencing. I didn't know how to make it stop on my own, but it did have an expiration date assigned to it. And I am so glad to be on the other side of that expiration date, right? That thing is over, but I am still here. Now then there became some other stuff. So what each one of those situations taught me is that no matter what's going on, it has an expiration date, and I can outlive whatever it is, right? Don't mean nothing else ain't coming just around the bend. And that can be frustrating because you're like, my God, I just dealt with. I get it. Sometimes that thing just keeps mounting and mounting and mounting. And when you don't have an answer for none of it, it's like, hold on, God. I think somebody is passing out assignments and they're a little off with because I feel like I'm getting all the stuff. But you're not alone. There are so many others that feel the same way, right? But glory to God that we can outlive. Then maybe that's the word of encouragement I need to drop. You can outlive what you're going through. It has an expiration date. We all do. Even we have an expiration date. But don't speed yours up. Don't get to yours prematurely. That thing that came upon you has to end. It has to stop. It has to be addressed. It has to be fixed. Don't know how, don't know when, but it has an expiration date. So outlive your problems. Outlive those situations. Outlive your heartache. Outlive your frustrations. Outlive whatever encounter comes to you that sets you off. Again, I don't know your answers. I don't have them. I ain't even had some of my own. But I outlived those situations, and I outlived it to run into something else. But even in that, God still prepared me. Another thing I would like to encourage us in, when we're out, sometimes our default thing is, hey, hello, how are you? How you doing? How's it going? And how are you? How are you doing? How's it going? Are very loaded questions. And for some people, they're very weighty. So let's be intentional with those. If you ask someone that question, make sure you're in a space that if they feel safe enough to not respond in their default setting, oh, I'm good, I'm fine, how are you? have the compassion to hear, to listen, even though you don't have the answer. Don't be dismissive. Don't be short. So let's be intentional about our interactions. I really think we need to get back to community. How we get there, I don't have the answers for that either. I know this video seemed like I don't have the answers for anything. Maybe that's what I'm going to title it. I don't have the answer, but I do have prayer and suggestions, right? But anyway, let us really be good to yourself. Be kind to others. Outlive what's coming at you. Stand strong. Stay prayerful. Get help. Reach out. Understand that no one person has the answer. So people be like, stop telling them to this and stop telling them to that, and you don't know what people do. I don't. But the least I can do is encourage you and make sure you're reminded to do that, to get help, to reach out. And when you reach, if you don't get help the first time, keep reaching until you find the help you need. And in talking to, I pray that each and every one of us has a support system, an accountability partner in our life, that even though you don't know what I need to do, even though you don't have the answer for me, knowing what I'm dealing with, you'll stand with me to help me outlive whatever this thing is, right? You don't know, something that's simple to you may be major to somebody else, and something that's major to you is simple to somebody else, right? So let's just be good to each other. Let's try to be there for each other as much as we can. Let's get back to community. We need our communities to be repaired. We need to heal. There is deliverance. There are resources that we need to get to our communities so that we can have what we need within our communities, right? We used to hear a lot of communication about tribes and things like that. We need each other. We were never meant to live this life alone. We were never meant to navigate through it by ourselves. But with all of the losses, a lot of people do feel alone. With a lot of the things going on, a lot of relationships have shifted and people really do feel by themselves. But you are not alone. You just have to get to the people that you're connected and assigned to, and be there for one another. All right, y'all. I love y'all real big. Don't forget, drop back comments, emails, text, call, whatever. Let me know how you're doing. I'm really concerned, and it's been on my heart again to pray for men, so I will be doing that. And if you have prayer requests and something you would like for me to tag team with you on in prayer, do not hesitate to reach out. I have things going on myself, but I am still available to others. I really genuinely do love you all, and I pray the best for you guys. I hope to see you guys again real soon. Until next time, as always, keep it kingdom.